Good evening. This is Maestro Critello with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast. Today, we have a 3v3 on Typhon Arena. Our first player is Wise Windu, playing as the Eldar Warp Spider Exarch. This is a teleporting commander with dual power blades as well as dual death spinners, so he can shoot things in ranged as well as tie them up in melee, and he's got some very interesting late game war gears that do some very cool things. His first teammate is Mr. 187. Wow, can't see him with all that glare there. He is playing as the Force Commander, tanky Space Marine melee hero who can tank damage, deal damage, disrupt with battle cry, punch vehicles, and maybe one or two other things. And then finally on the blue team, we have Nazzjack playing as the Chaos Lord. Big tanky melee hero in Terminator armor, so he cannot be knocked down or suppressed. Starts out with a powerful power sword as well as a combi bolter. So a little bit of ranged, a little bit of melee. Not a whole lot of either one to start out, but you can certainly upgrade him to make him pretty strong at actually either one, even ranged. On the other team, we've got FaRK Viking. I think I'm just going to call him Viking, playing as the Hive Tyrant. Another big tanky melee hero, unshakable, cannot be knocked down or suppressed. Maybe he can be killed, though, by some Howling Banshees. Very tough, very powerful. He can charge, and he can also become invulnerable. Next up, we have a Bored to Death. Guess what? Another tanky melee hero. This one also in Terminator armor, kind of like the Chaos Lord, except I think this guy's Terminator armor is a little bit different. This guy is very good at tanking, not so good at melee countering, but just good at raw tanking. One of the tankiest of the tanks. And then finally, we have Combustible Orange, not playing as a tanky melee hero. He's playing as the Farseer, an Eldar support and spellcasting hero who can disable, buff, do some damage a bit as well. Alright, wow, red team looking like... Red team actually seemed to have a very strong edge in the early engagements, even with Combustible Orange. I don't know if he'll get the full cap, but he certainly got the decap on this power. Looks like he is going to get the cap here. And if he decides to note it, or anyone, yeah, they do decide to note it, so that's really going to set the blue team back in their power income. The red team is paying 100 requisition, or, well, more than 100 requisition, actually, for this node right here, to delay them, but I mean, this is just extra time that the blue team is not going to be getting as much power as they could have. I mean, it's delaying them quite a bit. It of course ultimately will go down unless Combustible Orange and Bored to Death decide to press the advantage even a little bit more and re-note it. Wow, this is some very oppressive power harassment play. I actually like it quite a bit. I wonder if, yeah, grenade. I knew he was going to go for the grenade there, like. And the grenade there was, I feel like, such a great choice, even though it didn't hit, just because it forced Nazzjack back even more, so it's just more exerting that power pressure. Now we see the Strike Squad going in, although if both Chaos Space Marines decide to force melee the Strike Squad, I don't think they would win, unless they got a really good special attack. But Strike Squad now running a train. They need to be really, really careful about not wanting to retreat through this squad of heretics, but this heretic's taking a little too much damage in range without engaging in melee. But here we see, all right, blue team back here. I think the blue team is finally going to take their power back. These Noise Marines managing to knock down the Strike Squad. The Strike Squad at this point might lose a model, but they do get out of there. I don't know about Interceptors jumping right into Heretics, although the Heretics are so low in health that it actually works. So much harassment of this power, but I think it will finally go back in the blue team's favor, except for the Interceptors. Wow, this play right now by Combustible Orange and Bored to Death to maintain this not just a non-natural power, their opponent's natural power. Alright, yeah, alright. Interceptors finally have to go, and I think finally the blue team is going to get their natural power back. So that was some crazy early game pressure on this power farm. Meanwhile, what else is going on? VP is actually pretty even, though, with blue team actually having the advantage. Now, I didn't have it on the main game screen, but I did notice at some point that the blue team was actually getting a decap on the red team's natural power, and we actually have power generators going down on the contested. So the red team did have a lot of advantage down here, but it actually seems like Wise Windu was actually able to control the top rather well. So he's actually putting down a full power farm on this contested power node. So it looks like the blue team should be able to make up for, I guess, the power like deficit that they had while harassed. Although I would say they still would have to be at a disadvantage, since this contested power farm was really only just put down. But the blue team should have a pretty solid power income at the moment, plus 52, actually more than the red team. So Banshees are kind of leading the charge, although there isn't a whole lot of range fire, at least right here, to slow them down on approach or damage them on approach. We do have the Chaos Space Marines. Looks like Eternal War on both of Nazzjack's Chaos Space Marines, I believe. Eternal War just giving them a 20% damage buff, which isn't really that strong in Tier 1, since their base DPS in Tier 1 isn't really that strong. So the Eternal War damage buff doesn't get really powerful until you get all the other damage buffs that are included with getting a mark or getting an aspiring champion. But it can still add up a little bit, especially if you get if you do have it on 2 squads. So anyway, wow, the Chaos Lord, even the Chaos Lord has the Dark Halo, but he's not able to approach. I like the setup we have right here by Combustible Orange. He's got both the Dire Avengers and the Guardian Weapon Team were behind energy shields, so they were able to do a lot of damage to all the Chaos units on approach, including this Chaos Lord, while not taking any. Now, Chaos Lord, let's see, using the Dark Halo, but that means he's not having any energy for Kill the Weak. Not able to disrupt the Banshees, and it was pretty much the Noise Marines that prevented that Chaos Lord from getting incapacitated right there. Oh, Howling Banshees charging in as they do, but there was a screen of heretics. And that screen of heretics is very dangerous for Howling Banshees to charge through. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like Wise Windu actually having pretty dominant control over the top, and now it's actually the blue team with the power advantage because they do have their natural power as well as the contested one. So their power income is now plus 69 to plus 49 of the red team. Meanwhile, Wise Windu, it's interesting. Most of his units, he seems to be mostly running around with just the Warp Spider Exarch on the top of the map, and the rest of his units, well, are around here. But it looks like, let's see, Combustible Orange is, I mean, he's set up right in front of the power. I was going to say he might want to start bashing it, but he has to watch out. His Guardian Weapon Team does get jumped by some Assault Marines, and the Assault Marines at the moment are not terribly well countered. So they're just straight up going for the Guardian Weapon Team. Unfortunately, the kinetic pulse from the Rangers disrupts both the Dire Avengers as well as the Assault Marines, and right now the Assault Marines are really running a train while doing a lot of damage to the Dire Avengers. Dire Avengers down to 1 model. That's quite a bit of reinforcing to do. 27 requisition per Dire Avenger model. Assault Marines themselves, meanwhile, get out of there with no model losses, so they definitely did a really good job in that engagement. Ooh, but we're in Tier 2 now. Dark Reaper's out on the field for Combustible Orange. Incredibly high DPS ranged unit. They do Inferno damage, so they're really strong against anything that's not a vehicle. Everything else, they're really powerful against, and they have extended range. Not the toughest unit, though. Meanwhile, it looks like, let's see, this is Wise Windu again. So Wise Windu's doing, well, I was going to say he's doing a lot of work, getting a full power bash on the red team's natural power. However, it looks like the red team has now actually taken the contested power farm, which is one of the disadvantages of having a contested power farm. Your opponent can they can destroy the node, capture it for themselves, and then they'll be getting the power income from the generators that you built. So that's one of the major risks of building generators on a contested power node. But Purifier's now out on the field. Very powerful melee unit. I'm liking the use of the Noise Marines right here, really using that as a melee counter. And he's using that in times when he either needs to save his Chaos Lord, or in that case, let his Chaos Lord continue working, continue fighting, since the Chaos Lord will not get knocked down by that cacophony, and he can do a ton of damage now that he has Lightning Claws. Lightning Claws, getting the Harness of Rage and the Dark Halo. This is a straight-up tanky build with the Chaos Lord. It's the tankiest build you can get with him, since he will get extra hit points from the Dark Halo. And he will also regenerate the energy that is powering the Dark Halo with the Harness of Rage. And the Lightning Claws are the weapon with the fastest attack speed out of all the Chaos Lord's weapons, so he'll be regenerating that as quickly as possible, while also doing 100 DPS power melee. Now, I think he should stop chasing down the Stormtroopers, go for the Strike Squad. He's going to do major, major damage. I want to see him kill Strike Squad models. Alright, doesn't get any Strike Squad models, but he should do a lot of damage. He's going to take out the Brother Captain. The Brother Captain with no actual death animation, so he just kind of appears down once he goes down. And we have the Purifiers going into melee the Force Commander. Force Commander, yeah, should Battle Cry. I feel like it doesn't look like Battle Cries on cooldown, or is it? Maybe it is. So he just has to retreat out of there. But we've got double Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines from Nazzjack. That's going to do major, major damage to certainly anything Bored to Death is going to put out on the field, and, well, really it's going to do major damage to anything. But here's that Chaos Lord. I can see him, like, almost one-shotting models. He gets a special attack there, so he doesn't kill any of those Dire Avenger models. Dire Avengers, they're going for a grenade. Grenade on suppressed units. I saw that coming. Saw that coming from so far away, but Nazzjack just decides to retreat out of there, make sure he doesn't take any losses. But that was a smart play by Combustible Orange. Chaos Lord, at this point, yeah, he is tanky, but that's still too much. Oh, he's going to go back anyway because he's going to get support from the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines, or is he? Yeah, he should move up with those Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines as long as he has the Chaos Lord here. All right, Chaos Lord is actually not going to go down because he is... Oh, or is he? I think he should go down now. Yes, he is. All right. Well played by Bored to Death. Now, this contested power is frequently changing hands, and that is also just one of the risks of a contested power. Oh, we've got double Warp Spiders for Wise Windu. Incredibly high range DPS. The Warp Spiders are what I like to call a range superiority unit. They're just... Well, they're like a superior ranged unit. Just do a huge amount of damage, about 100 DPS piercing per squad, and oh, that Warrior Brood, I thought it went down, but instead I think it just lost 2 models on retreat from the Banshees. But looks like we have a lot of power harassment in this game. We've got power destroyed here, power going down here. So, Bored to Death. Wow, Bored to Death doesn't have that many units, but the units that he has are pretty powerful. Strike Squad, Interceptors, as well as Purifiers, all pretty tanky. Strike Squad almost level 2, although Strike Squad, not really the best unit for scaling, but, I mean, as long as you're going to keep them out on the field and they won't die, you might as well get them to level up so that they can be as strong as possible. So, even if they're not that great, they can at least be pretty durable. Oh my god, what a blob right here. Some kind of area of effect damage would be absolutely devastating right now. I don't know what kind of area of effect damage that would be. Actually, the Purifiers do have some area of effect damage, and if they use that, especially on a lot of these power armor units, that would be really, really effective. But it looks like all of those units got forced off instead. So blue team looking to be taking this engagement, but red team again with that power harassment. However, this Stormtrooper squad is absolutely screwed. So is this Strike Squad. Strike Squad should go down. Alright, so Bored to Death sadly lost that Strike Squad that I was just saying. If he's going to keep it alive, that Stormtrooper squad should be dead too. Even the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marine should force melee, but not even necessary. So ultimately overextended by Bored to Death, and he loses 2 squads for it. This should be another full power farm down. Looks like we have the Noise Marines. Noise Marines even appear to be attacking ground so that they can bash more than 1 generator at a time. Librarian out on the field. Librarian I think he's done some good stuff. Probably, didn't he? I think he helped take out that strike squad with his power melee. Now he does have the Force Staff. Grants the Force Barrier ability, which is now quite a bit better than it was before. Ooh, Gene Stealers from Viking. Plasma Cannon Devastators. Ooh, I was going to say, if they do not retreat, they are going to get wiped. They might get wiped anyway. So close. Wow, 9 hit points. I think just one more leap from those warriors would have taken out that Plasma Cannon Devastator. Oh my god, the Warp Spiders are so powerful, so powerful. So much damage, and then when you get into range of them, they just teleport out of the way. Which is part of what makes them such an extremely, extremely strong unit. Usually just, like, the main counter to Warp Spiders usually is just some kind of ranged unit that's as good as them, or better. Like Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines, maybe Dark Reapers, what else? Well, I'd say that's mostly what I can think of for Tier 2. Actually, Stern Guard veterans with Hellfire rounds would actually counter them really hard. Oh, this Zoanthrope is definitely going to go down. It's so close, actually. I think the Banshees are going to go for this chase. I still think they're going to do it. It's close, and they do it. I knew they were going to do it. Banshee chasing is still just incredibly powerful. We have had a Hell Fury strike right there. I think the Warp Spiders need to go, though. They're still lucky to... One of them is still lucky to be at 4 out of 5 models. The other one lucky to be at... Oh, 3 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. I think with the Purifiers now getting in range, I think it's time for those Warp Spiders, yeah, to teleport out of there. One Warp Spider model just exploded, or not exploded, but he died. And the Purifiers did not lose a single model. Level 2 Purifiers, level 2 Interceptors. But VP is actually significantly in favor of the blue team now, 313 to 97. We do have some Stern Guard veterans. They get suppressed, and that's not good for them. We're going to need some Force Commander disruption, I think. Let's get some Battle Cry right there, because we've got Warriors, we've got Gene Stealers. Yep. And that's, of course, that's pretty much... I knew it was going to happen just because it was really just the right choice. Anyway, Shuriken Cannon is set up and suppresses some of the things on approach, but the Hive Tyrant still... Wow! Wipe the Gene Stealers? That area of effect attack wiped the Gene Stealers, killed 2 Gene Stealer models in retreat with 1 blow. I thought those Gene Stealers were going to survive, if only because there were 2 models left. But this is a tracking special, so once it starts, it's going to hit, and that's a tracking area of effect special. 360 degrees. Force Commander now level 6. He's putting in a lot of work, killing a lot of models, especially if he's going to disrupt something like Termagants. He's definitely going to be killing some models. I think the Force Commander now a bit overextended after that knockdown, but he will get out of there alive. This is an Eldritch, a Singularity, or a Warp Throw, or a Singularity. Pulls in all of those Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. The Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines, oh no! He tried to combo Grenade as well as Banshees on retreat, but he ended up nading his own Banshees. Still took out a few Chaos Space Marine models, a total of, I think, at least 2 Chaos Space Marine models, and maybe if this other one had an Aspiring Champion, he killed the Aspiring Champion. Alright, so what's going on over here? Plasma Cannon Devastator, but we have the Hive Tyrant approaching with the Warp Field. If he's going to approach with the Hive Tyrant to force off the Guardian Weapon team, I would think he should support it with the rest of his army, but the rest of his army is going up north to intercept this power cap. So as a consequence, this Hive Tyrant, well, he actually isn't going to go down. I'm not sure if he would have won that engagement anyway, even if he did bring the rest of his army, since there were 2 armies to contend with, and he only had 1 army, and Viking's army at the moment is not actually that powerful. He's only got double Termagants and double Warriors, one Barb Strangler, 1 Adrenal Gland, so that's really not actually that powerful of an army. And I think both Windu and 187 have better armies than him at the moment. So Vanguard veterans now jumping in. 187 getting Vanguard Veterans, elite tier 3 melee unit that can jump, do power melee damage, as well as some of them have plasma pistols rather than bolt pistols. Assault Marines wipe out that Guardian Weapon team. Knew that was going to happen as well. Singularity might go off. Pulls in friendly Dire Avengers. Alright, those Dire Avengers might be screwed on retreat. Let's see, these Dire Avengers have only an Exarch model, I think. Dire Avenger Exarch model, but there's nothing in the retreat path to intercept it. Alright, we see Paladins now out on the field. They used Holy Ground, which actually increases their speed, I believe. Yeah, buffs the speed of allied units and debuffs the speed of enemy units. Ooh, we have a Chaos Space Marine squad in a lot of trouble. He's going for the wipe. He misses it. What happened? Like, that was definitely a teleport for the wipe. Now he's without a teleport against a Chaos Lord as well as some Heretics. The Heretics actually back off. And now the Chaos Lord is taking too much range damage. So, I mean, that looks like a teleport to finish off the Chaos Space Marines, and I imagine it had to be, but then he just mismicroed, misclicked. Oh well. But, so VP still in favor of the blue team. Not looking good for the red team at the moment because Windu is going to get this decap, but the red team is going to get the cap here, so it's still a 1-to-1 cap, and no VPs actually ticked down, even in that exchange. Warrior Brood in quite a bit of trouble, but the Howling Banshees are suppressed. Viking, yeah, I was going to say, he needs something else, because his army really isn't cutting it. Just 2 Termagants. The best thing he had was the Hive Tyrant. Now he at least has a Swarm Lord coming, which I've been told is almost like a Hive Tyrant in its own way. It's like a super Hive Tyrant. Someone can correct me on that, but yeah, that thing, well, is it going to go north? Yeah, we better go north. Meanwhile, down here is, oh, Chaos Terminators. For a second I thought this was the Chaos Lord. Something just died. I think that was Dire Avengers. No, it was, I don't even know, but something died. A lot of things are dying. Howling Banshees, no, level 2 Howling Banshees for Combustible Orange go down. Combustible Orange does have some Seer Council, but they apparently did not do that well in that engagement. It looks like Blue Team took that engagement pretty handily, in fact. And it looks like they have a pretty solid control over the bottom with all of this power armor down here, as well as Terminator armor. At first I confused one of these models for the Chaos Lord, but the Chaos Lord is over here, not looking too different from his Chaos Terminators. I think what's going on with the Chaos Terminators, they have this, their Lightning Claw model seems to be the same model as like the Loyalist Terminators, whereas the Chaos Lord has his own Lightning Claw model. And I think maybe they should like switch it, like give the Chaos Terminators the Chaos Lord Lightning Claw model. Alright, Swarm Lord up top, and Red Team staying in this game because of the fact that they've now switched to controlling both of the top VPs. And it actually seems like they're mostly conceding the bottom, although Combustible Orange is still going down here. But the thing is, the blue team is doubling the bottom and holding 1 VP, so the red team is controlling 2 VPs up top. We have a Fire Prism in a lot of trouble. The Swarm Lord is the one going for the kill. Swarm Lord, not the most powerful for AV damage. I mean, he certainly does AV damage. Swarm Lord does about, I believe, 85 DPS heavy melee, so about 42.5 DPS to vehicles, and he does actually take out the Swarm Lord. I mean, the Swarm, one of the greatest things about the Swarm Lord is how fast he is. Or, well, it is. Alright, the Swarm Lord, yeah. Swarm Lord should start using an ability. Which one? He actually uses... Actually, looks like he uses Storm of Blades. I believe that's the name of the ability. He actually used that ability rather than Leech Essence. Usually, Tyranid players will just use Leech Essence with the Swarm Lord to really make sure that he regenerates health, and as soon as he has the energy, he should absolutely start using that ability. So it looks like Vanguard Veterans went down for 187. Swarm Lord just trying to get out of there, though. Vindicare Assassin, I think, needs to move back a little bit. Oh, here's the Tyrant formation. There's so much stuff here. What's going to get knocked over by this Tyrant formation? Bright Lance gets knocked over. And, I mean, the Tyrant formation is mostly a whole lot of disruption. Usually doesn't really quite kill the way other nukes do. But red team suddenly back in this game, 131 to 75 VPs. Looks like the blue team is going to go up maybe and get the natural, but now the red team is actually getting a decap on the contested. So soon it's going to be a 2-0 for the red team. So that's definitely going to really go pretty close to evening out the VPs. Very smart time fields. That time field, even it just delays the cap just a little bit longer. Not too much longer, but it still delayed it and just bought them like maybe an extra VP on the counter. So, but it looks like the red team is in a position where now they need to start making a push, because the blue team is going to get this VP and it looks like they're going to get this one as well. So red team's got to make something happen. It's a double cap in their favor, but not for a whole lot longer. Very soon it's going to be a 1-to-1 cap. There's a lot of stuff here. Dual Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. I have a feeling if Combustible Orange goes in alone, he's going to get mauled. If anything, it looks like the play is going to be up here to go for the blue team natural again, since that's where it looks like the red team is a little bit stronger at the moment, but they still have a lot to worry about. Warriors engaging, but they're getting killed by a lot of lightning claws. Hive Tyrant is here. He still needs to be careful about the lightning claws as well. He's got the bonded exoskeleton as well as the warp field, so he can become invulnerable. Right now he's using the bonded exoskeleton, and now it actually looks like he's going somewhere else. Looks like he's actually retreating, but just lost the marker. So Interceptor's going to just straight up capture the point with the just Warp Spider Exarch shooting at them, because they are tough enough to just tank the Warp Spider Exarch damage. Alright, looks like we had a few different abilities, definitely some holy grounds. A grenade looks like it went off. A lot of things are happening. Meanwhile, we have a Land Raider Redeemer, and everything's just retreating to this Land Raider Redeemer. Combustible Orange, how close is he to a nuke? Alright, he's not at a nuke yet, because a nuke on this right here would be pretty devastating. What a force barrier. I love that force barrier. That's really like letting, like, or just holding everything back. Very, very nice. Meanwhile, what happened to the Interceptors? The Interceptors looks like they eventually got out of there, but that means that Windu's going to take this back. So, blue team looking like they might be taking it again. Ooh, here is some Bloodlust Global. Bloodlust Global took out the Terminator Librarian. Not looking good for the red team at this point. Oh my god. Bloodlust Global, very powerful for the Cast Lord. So it looks like something might attempt to capture right here, but they're going to get hit by a Blastmaster Noise Marine, unfortunately. That knocks them off the point. So you're going to need something maybe to approach this Blastmaster. Approaching with the Warriors, they're going to get hit again. Ouch. I think one of their best chances also that something needs to go into the webway and getting a ninja cap on this for the red team. But now it's actually the Warriors. Oh god, the Warriors are in a lot of trouble. The Warriors are screwed. But we have a decap from Viking. Not bad. Can they back it up with some more stuff? And we also have still potential nukes on both sides. Two Eldritches are waiting in people's pockets. Could not finish the cap because we had the Plasma Cannon Devastator and knocking off the Chaos Lord. It appears the Plasma Cannon Devastator, well, not the Chaos Lord, that will knock off the Hive Tyrant, but the Blastmaster will not. And now there's a ton of red team stuff here again. Alright, there needs to be something to come out of the webway. This is their only chance, and if something happens, if the blue team attempts to capture here, I think Combustible Orange would have to use his Eldritch. It can still go either way, but blue team or red team especially has very little margin for error. And we've got, again, like two nukes sitting in people's pockets. Why is Windu sitting on a nuke? Combustible Orange sitting on a nuke. They can both use a nuke. But I think the red team can still wait a little bit, and they might want to Yeah, I mean, they might want to save their nuke for this Redeemer. If anything, the blue team is looking in the stronger position because they've got the better armies. Fortidef going for a Dreadnought of all things, while people like Nazzjack is going for the Great Unclean One. So we've got a Fire Prism going for this point. Fire Prism, well, we'll see how well that'll do by itself. What's up with the Farseer running into a Fire Prism? Probably about to get shot by it, and she does. So it looks like the blue team and now possibly making a play for the top. Warriors go down for the Viking. At this point, all right, I didn't even see the Swarm Lord going down. Oh, here's the Warp Spider Exarch. That could be it. Carnifex. All right, I think with some quick interception, the Warp Spider Exarch should not be able to finish this cap, and he doesn't. Alright, where's the Hive Tyrant going? Put something on that point. Like, again, the red team has so little margin for error. It's coming around to be that time to use the Eldritch Storm. Not much time left. Things going for the cap. But it's not looking good for the red team right here. They don't have their stuff on this side of the map. But, again, now is the time for the Eldritch. Or something to come out of the webway. Something to come out of this webway and stop these Warp Spiders, or at Eldritch. The Eldritch has to happen. The Eldritch is on the Land Raider. Which, I mean, okay, it's on the Land Raider, but if it's not on this, if something doesn't come out of the webway now, it's done in favor of the blue team. Alright, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. A little too late. Oh, and the Eldritch actually from Windu actually knocks the Farseer off the point. And that is the game. That was a very good game. Hope you enjoyed it too. Have a good night.